Well, hi.
Hello, don't mind me scratching my legs. I just apparently got like 60 mosquito bites.
Well, that's what you
Ah,
get for outside.
I gotta water things.
Yeah.
I'll die otherwise. Oh, so itchy.
Well, thank you, Nancy, for gifting 5
Thank
memberships.
you, Nancy. Thank you
Let
for
me
being a member. Thank you for gifting memberships. Thank you for being you.
thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again.
Back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal. I'm confident.
If you threw a party.
And invited everyone you knew.
So they went to Brent Lightcap, Boots Cats, Passing Wind, First Class Fish, and James H.
Nice. Welcome aboard.
And
Geek
if y'all
Boy
happen to
doubts that
be,
this is really 100. I
you
guess.
know what? I think this stream has been properly numbered. Like
You can go back and count them, I
because I
guess.
know McStreamy is kind of all over the place, and I think I did like a 0.1 and a 0.2 from some of them, and there were times we skipped. Then I did like some kind of makeup stream by myself that didn't really count. So, but I
I don't
think
think
this one,
we've never done a makeup stream. Like if we just didn't do it, we just didn't do it.
yeah, I think this one is solidly episode number 100.
And if it's not, we're just gonna pretend it is. We're just gonna pretend it is.
So, Passing Wind said this yesterday, and I still haven't looked at it, but he said if anyone is looking for a new CO2 regulator, Aquarocks Colorado has them on sale for $120 off. So it's $30.
What?
Yeah.
What brand is that? Is it
I
F
don't
Zone?
know. I don't
They
think
do sell
Aquarocks
it.
would sell. They do?
I thought they did. Maybe
Let's
I'm
see.
wrong. I would hate to unfairly malign Aquarocks Colorado. Let's look that up.
Well, Passing Wind is I believe he is replacing Milwaukee, so surely even an
God.
F Zone would be better than a Milwaukee.
I mean, boy, I don't know. Kind of a lateral move. Hard to
Could
say.
be. So,
I'm not a fan of either one.
Let's see, is it on clearance or something? Where
I mean, that's
trying to find it.
insane.
Let's see. CO2 regulator and accessories. Lots of accessories. Oh, Pro Regulator Dual Stage by Aqua. So it's like a white label. Here, let me share my screen.
Oof. Let me itch my calf. Ugh. Pro Regulator Dual Stage by Aquarocks Colorado. I mean, boy. Does it one he built? I mean, if it's one he built, I would get it. I mean, it might be a homemade. Well, no, because it's in, I don't know. I don't have enough data to whether I can recommend it or not.
No idea. But for $30, I mean, you know,
maybe I would try it on a tank.
Babysit it, watch it like a hawk, you know.
One thing that can give you a clue if a good regulator is easy to dial in.
Yeah, for sure.
So like if you can get it set and dialed in within like 10 minutes, it's a good regulator. Like my GLA, 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
If it's taking you an hour to dial in, it's a bad regulator.
And then you can walk away and you can come back in 2 hours and it's the exact same bubble rate that you left it.
It is exactly the same. And the only thing that gets it hard to dial in is like, you know, I just have to make sure that there's no leaks, that I have it set up right. But like,
yeah, let the line pressurize.
If I adjust the line, it is where it's supposed to be. I don't have to futz with it. I don't have to mess with it. I mean, I have to decide what bubble rate I want, you know, that I have it turned up as high or low as I want it to be. but it stays where I want it. So if it holds really steady and you're not like, oh my God, it's now 0 bubbles a second and I did have it right. Or oh, now it's terrible. I mean, then you know it's bad. Then I would not
Yeah.
it, and I would just say, well, I'm out $30.
If the working pressure needle drifts on you while the solenoid is closed or while it's open or really for any reason,
Yeah.
it's a bad regulator.
Yeah, because that never happens with a good regulator. It never happens with a good regulator.
And so
that,
even like CO2 art, their needle valve is not my favorite because it is kind of sensitive. It can go from like really slow to just barely touching it and screaming. But what I noticed with that one, you can dial it in better by turning the working pressure down a lot and then having the bubble rate set below what you want, and then use the working pressure knob to adjust it. And it's very consistent. It's just a little bit more tweaking involved to dial it in.
But if you have a GLA, there's no tweaking. You just
and same with the Aquaristics one.
The only tweaking is dealing with the bubble counter leaks, and I have to make sure I have the Teflon tape on there and that there's no leaks there. But like setting the bubble counter to the flow rate I want, no issues at all. And that's the sign of a good regulator. So if you want to take the risk for $30, I mean, that's not much to be out. And make sure you are not leaving your house while you try it.
So Geek does have one. He said it's probably their own brand, most likely a rebadged F-zone. It does look very F-zone-y, the shape of it. But I mean, a lot of regulators kind of look like that. And let's see. He said, I have one. It works, but I'm not sure anyone should trust it with expensive fish. So yeah, I mean, I replaced most of my F-zones. I'm still using an F-zone and it's still rock solid. So just, babysit it, watch it, expect the unexpected.
I have just known people who've had F-zones fail. So I would not trust them. If you think it's a rebranded F-zone, probably wouldn't trust it on any fish you really care about.
Yeah.
So Passing Wind says, well, it's going to be better than the one that I had, even though it's off the tank.
It's still, the pressure, working pressure was totally off. So,
that's a bad regulator. I mean, you could try it. Would I try it? Probably not, because I have rainbows, and rainbows are precious, and rainbows are expensive. Like if you have a bunch of expensive plecos, don't do it. Yeah, Geek Boy says, remember, it is potentially $30 plus the cost of all the fish in your tank. Yeah, he has a good point. And that's why, yes, the GLA is expensive, but it was a one-time purchase. But it has never caused me any heartache other than the fact the bubble counters do leak, but that is not anything that's going to kill fish. It's just annoying. And one time Jake accidentally knocked it over and broke the bubble counters off, and I had to replace those. But
if only they weren't made of glass.
Yeah. But I mean, it's,
that
was an accident. Whatever. That's not a big deal. But the regulator itself has been rock steady. So worth the money. Just for the peace of mind.
For sure. Yeah. One day I want to get into those custom made ones that people.
I mean, if I needed a new one, that's what I would get. I know that that's the best option. When I bought this one, I didn't know of anybody who was making custom ones, and I don't have that skill set. So that's why I went with GLA, because they had the best reputation. They are expensive. But, if I had to do it again, but once you have a good regulator, you don't really need another one. So.
Matt says, congrats on 100. Beautiful new thumbnail, like me and my co-host. What do y'all think of that new thumbnail? I wanted to switch things up. I get bored of the same stuff and just.
It's really bright and cheerful. I like it. Yeah.
That was the goal.
Why not?
bright and cheerful.
Yeah, but Matt, I agree. I still
Yeah.
miss Myrtle too. I think about
Same.
him a lot.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think we all feel that way.
I mean, I think about him every single day. Like he is
Yeah.
still a part of my life.
Yeah.
I need to figure out how to make that that Aponigeton Robinsoni reproduce. It's flowering over and over. I accidentally snapped the flower the other day, and I was really upset. And then 2 days later, another flower started coming up. It's flowered like 8 times this year.
Yeah. I mean, they have the 2 flowers that come out. I think you need to cross them together.
Got to rub the flower genitals to get together, and
yeah. I mean, you could take a Q-tip or a paintbrush and brush pollen from one to the other too, if you wanted to try that. Because that
and
way,
then do you think I should get like some very wet aqua soil in a little container and maybe put some saran wrap over it, try to do like a dry start?
I mean, you don't want it to dry out, but if you kind of did like a terrarium situation, it might like that.
Yeah, I was thinking like super wet but not submersed.
I mean, it definitely wants wet feet. So you would want it like water up to the substrate level line. I mean, you could try that. But yeah,
because if I let it go in the
box.
Say again?
You could put it in like a clear plastic box. I've seen people do that, like a plastic shoe box to germinate it.
Yeah.
With substrate and water.
Something. It's a little small container.
Or like a deli container. A deli container would work. Yeah.
If I just let it go in the plant farm, it's gonna swirl all around.
Yeah, well, you're gonna lose it because it's I mean, I've lost plants in my takes just because they're so crowded.
Right.
No, that's a thing that happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've got stratum on hand, so it'd just be a like clean way to get it started.
Yeah, and I've done with that with crypts before, propagated them immersed, just with like aqua soil in like a jar or a box, but like a deli container would work, a clear one, I think, and then just you could either put it in a window or you could put it under a light. You have plenty of lights, so you could do that.
Cool.
You wouldn't want to put it outside. It's so hot there.
Yeah, God.
I mean, it would just cook.
But yeah, I would like to propagate it, and obviously that's the only way it wants to reproduce is flowering. Like
sexually. Yeah, so it
is desperate to flower.
It's not something you can vegetatively reproduce easily. Well, I mean, that would make you a master aquatic horticulturist.
How many points do you get for a flower?
Well, yeah, it depends on the rules, but like usually you can get like 2 or 3x the points, and an Aponigeton is a high value point. So if you really want to game the system, if you care about that, I mean, you know, I care about it so much. But think about
tally up all of our points.
I could tally up all the plants I have right now, and I would be an aquatic master horticulturist right now because I can count, at least with my club, all my pond plants.
I don't think our club has anything like that.
Yeah, we have a hat program, and like pond plants count, and all my pond plants are flowering, every single one of them.
Sweet.
So, I mean, yeah, it doesn't really mean much.
Yeah.
But if it makes you happy, you should do it. You should do it.
Maybe it's validating.
I guess it just doesn't bring me any joy.
Nah, I mean, I would like to have kept a record of every plant that I have bought and propagated and, you know, at least didn't fail at. And probably.
Yeah, I just don't really care about it because I don't kind of grow what I like to grow. And I
Yeah, I mean, you've reached that point where you've figured out what you like.
what I
You've
like
tried all the things,
yeah,
and
what I like the looks of. I mean, there are still new things I like to try, but
yeah,
I don't want to grow 50 stems. I just don't
I
I
do
don't
kind of still. Some of them are pissing me off, but
That's okay. That's what brings you happiness, but like I just don't want to. And there is keeping a spreadsheet for your hobby is not something that brings me happiness. That is a dude thing to do, to keep a spreadsheet
I
for
like
your
the idea of
hobby.
it. I will admit.
I mean, you are a dude. I don't want to do it. I mean, maybe Jenna could keep your spreadsheet for you. I don't
So
know.
data is manly, I guess, right?
It's just something about having the Excel spreadsheet for your job. Or I mean, not for your job. There's nothing manly about using Excel for your job. It's what we must do. No, for your hobby, it's a dude thing.
So, what gets bigger, glow light Tetris or black neon Tetris?
Let's see. Black neons get pretty big. When's the last time I had glow lights? I don't think I've ever had both of them at the same time.
I've
But
had neither, so
black neons get pretty big. So I think that, but maybe someone in the chat could offer a second opinion. Black neon tetras, I'll say this about them. They are hardy AF. They are very, very hardy.
whereas regular neon Tetras are the worst.
Less so. But like even like a cheap Petco black neon tetra is pretty hardy. I mean, they're okay looking. They're fine. They're not my favorite. Oh, Sketty Nona, did you guys have another derecho there? Iowa gets nasty derechos. I mean, they usually fizzle out by the time we get here. I mean, we get tons of rain here, but we don't get those straight line winds and like the big storms like Iowa does. We just don't.
So the topic of this stream is water chemistry matters, but does it matter for a pink flamingo crypt, or does it just do whatever the hell it wants?
I think it does whatever it wants. I mean, I don't know.
So this is Pink Flamingo Watch. This is, what is it? It's been in my tanks for 2 weeks now. Yeah.
What fish are next to it? I can't tell.
Stir-by cories.
Okay. Stir-by cories are friends to plants. I was worried that was some sort of pleco, and I was like, oh.
I have we have 2 plecos, bristlenose plecos, but I do not have them in the same tank as the crypts, pink flamingos. So this is a no CO2 tank. And
yeah, I think for it to look good and thrive in our water, I think you're going to need CO2. It might grow a little bit, but I don't think it's getting it really peak. Nancy asked, are you yelling at them and telling them Kelly thinks they're stupid?
I'm not yelling at them. I'm just kind of like muttering. I'm getting real close to them and just muttering at them, just really hateful things. Like
they're just a plant I'm done with. There are other plants that are less fussy and cost less money. I mean, I will still try new plants and also kill them. I just want to move on to killing other plants.
Yeah.
So Moose says, I've had my black neons for like 2 years now with no drama, but one jumped, but no other losses. Yeah, that sounds pretty typical for them. I mean, they don't live a super long time, like, goldfish or rainbows, but they're a pretty hardy fish, and they get pretty big.
We both have Danio Chopre. I highly recommend them.
I highly recommend them too. They're very hardy. They're very pretty. They're zippy. Yeah, I like those. Yeah. Foxanne, do you have some of those you're selling? Let us know, because I know that you breed those. If so, that is a good option for you. And if she doesn't have some now, she might have some later.
So this is the plant farm.
Nice.
Look at that leaf
Fontana says
already.
she does have some. So there's a good option for you because they will be very healthy and happy and shipped to you with a kiss.
Hell yeah. This is one immersed leaf that still, I guess, is starting to melt. So
yeah. I mean, but I don't think that's troubling. That's just crypts.
yeah, these two leaves are new growth since I got it 2 weeks ago. So it's doing something. This is the 40-gallon in the living room. I keep making changes to it, so it needs like lots of trimming to dealgify these leaves. But there's a new leaf growth there.
All right, that's good.
And then this is, I guess, if you think that this is evidence of something, the Chihiros light is not doing it any favors.
I'm not willing to read anything into those.
Well, this is YouTube, so bad science is required. So let's
required.
conclude that aqua soil and Chihiros lights and CO2 are bad.
Kill plants.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. You heard it here first, guys. I would just say that the only thing that we have proven is crypt melt. I mean, it's
only been 2 weeks, so
it's what they do.
I'm glad that I'm seeing new growth on most of them, though.
And those are a sport of Wentii, and Wentii is a melty crypt. So there are some crypts that don't melt, like lucens, parva. Those don't melt.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God, because they're expensive and slow growing.
Yeah.
So, those you can plant and they will look no different for months because they grow so slow, but they will not melt. But anything that's a sport of the Wentii, it's probably gonna melt. It's almost always gonna melt. So I've had mine melt for no reason. Just
that's
maybe I was making too many changes, or maybe it got really hot out and they just all melted back, and it's like, oh, well, all right, but then they come back. So
Zen. You specifically say y'all will dispel the planet tank myths perpetuated on social media in the description. Well,
did we? I didn't read the description. I
added that
agree to the description.
You have to agree to the terms.
I did not. I mean, because maybe I want to just propagate more myths.
Could be. Well, I don't know if we can actually single-handedly fight like larger channels just saying whatever, but we can at least kind of encourage critical thinking.
Maybe if you would buy some subs, Steven, we would get a larger viewership.
I need to get on that.
I know. What are you spending all this super chat money on? I gotta show everyone something. I'm gonna turn the camera.
Okay. That's a fat kitty in a hamper?
Yeah. Jake made up a little bed for him.
Nice.
It's a grocery, like a box or bag. In fact, he likes those so much that Jake bought one for him.
So Andrew Day would like to know, if a crypt is grown submerged, does it help with melting? It just, it depends on the crypt. Some of them are okay with being transported, but like Wentii is not one of them.
No, because you can move it within your tank and it can melt. You can move it. Sometimes you can move it between your own tanks and it will be okay. I've had that happen. But like Steven and I don't have radically different water, but if he sends me a crypt, it's gonna melt.
Yeah. But they're hardy, so they will come back. It's just kind of an annoyance with crypts and
some people like to just cut them back before they plant them, and I don't like to do that because before they melt, they do photosynthesize for the plant, and that will help them grow some roots and settle in, and it'll have a little bit of stored energy to regrow the leaves. I just let them melt on their own, and then I just remove the dead leaves. But I don't cut them back before I plant them. I let nature take its course. There's no need to do that unless like they're already like dying in the bag.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
All the nasty leaves, the ones that are easy to pluck.
Yeah, I mean, if they're already like gross, then I don't plant anything gross and rotting.
Speaking of crypts, how often does everyone pull as they propagate?
Depends on the crypts.
I guess
Depends on my laziness.
how big does the plantlet need to be before you separate it from the mother plant?
Depends on the crypts. For pink flamingo, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah,
Would not touch it at all.
It is where it is.
That's right, because if you touch it, it will die. But for other crypts, like I have a big stand of Hateroi crypts in the middle of this tank. That's this dark area in the middle. I mean, I can pull those at any time and they'll be fine. And I've given pounds of those away. So, you know,
and I still have that giant Cryptotropica in my 90-gallon that I've divided. I don't know. I've lost count how many times I've divided over the years. It just keeps coming back. And I'm pretty sure it melts for people as I send it to them, but then it comes back.
Yeah. And like this clump of lutea right here, I thought I'd gotten rid of it. And because I cleaned out the substrate because I wanted this side of the tank, I wanted it to be completely empty. I guess I missed like one root. And now
all that is lutea.
Yeah, it is. But
That's
I
funny.
actually kind of like the look of it. And now there's kind of like a diagonal line going through here. And I kind of like it. So I kind of just went with it. But yeah, that came from one crypt. So, I love crypts. They get there in the end. So Alec asks about Rose and Maiden.
I sent you that. Did it melt on you?
It did melt, but it also got completely overwhelmed by the Marsilea lawn, so I don't have it anymore. Maybe it's some of it's hiding, but it's just not meant to be in this tank. There's too much. Too much Marsilea.
I was gonna say when it cools down again, I can send you more because it's my favorite crypt, so I put it in every single tank.
I just don't really have any places for it, unfortunately, because I love having a Marsilea lawn. I love it. It looks so good, and it's so easy care. It's such an easy foreground. It's the foreground I would suggest for people who just want something that looks good in their tank, especially if you have CO2. Without CO2, so slow, so slow.
Very slow.
But if you have CO2 and you just want something easy care, and you have a good sized tank, Marsilea is the way to go.
What is it about some plants that literally just are stagnated, and then you add CO2 and they become invasive practically? Because bulbitis is one of them. Yeah, Marsilea is one.
Java
fern.
Well, those are all ferns, so maybe there's something to that.
Yeah.
Siswassertang
too.
Monte Carlo won't grow at all without CO2. Won't grow at all. I just think that some plants have no ability to metabolize carbonate at all. None.
Yeah.
And all plants will do better if you inject CO2. However, but
or if you have CO2 injection still reigns supreme, but if you have low KH water, you at least get more bioavailability with that with whatever CO2 is being produced.
You get more dissolved or aqueous CO2 that the plants can use. Because CO2 exists in two forms in your tank: dissolved and gaseous. And gaseous CO2, the issue is it bubbles away.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be around forever. So even if you have some decay in your substrate and it makes a bubble of CO2, it's not going to stay. It's going to bubble to the top. So, if you have low KH water, you're going to have more dissolved CO2.
Vibes, thank you for the super chat. And he said, if I don't say hi, I'm sorry. I'm in bed resting, stomach bug. Ugh.
Oh, no. I hope you feel better soon. Take care of yourself. Rest up. take it easy on your tummy. Oh, no fun.
And said, keep doing what you do, and your true followers will come. And likewise for you, Vibes.
You know, and they
I
have
love Vibes stream. Thursday night, they always have a really, really great fish topic.
Just and a really positive attitude and really great co-hosts who are really knowledgeable. And you know what? Just keep being a light in the world. It's good. Be a light for the hobby. It's a good thing. So, you know, and you don't have to be super knowledgeable to have a good live stream. You know, if you're sharing your experiences and what you are learning and how you are growing, and, you know, if you can get people on your stream who know more, like you're also a light for the hobby. You don't have to be like, you know, Gary Lang or Tom Barr or someone like that to, you know, make a positive impact with your channel. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, critical thinking is the most important part. It's more important than just having the straight up knowledge. Is like knowing how to question things and do your own research.
Yeah, I mean, whenever someone asks, like, you know, what kind of videos should I make? Like, I want to make a top 10 care video of these fish I never kept. Well, don't do that. But why not make a video on the fish you have and what your experiences are? You know, even if you're a beginner, like that's valuable because it could inspire people to try it, and that's valuable.
Yeah, so. Videos that are just like, here are the things that I'm trying. Here is what seems to be working. Do not conclude that because I got this one thing to work that suddenly it works for everybody. But
But you're still sharing your experiences. And unfortunately, our hobby is entirely based on anecdotal data. It's very hard to do side-by-side tests. It just is. And I'm a scientist and I'm not doing them either. You know,
why not? Come on.
Because it's not really fun to have two identical tanks.
I mean, in reality, wouldn't you need like 200 identical tanks?
Yeah, you would, because like even a shitty clinical study has like at least 10 patients. I mean, that's a bad clinical study, but come on. So I would need at least 10 identical tanks, and I don't want to do this. Yeah. Do people want to be like Gary Lang? Have those people seen his comments on Facebook? You know what? The man is a good fish breeder.
Yeah.
And we'll leave it at that.
It's the result of knowing too much and seeing so much ignorance that you just blow your top.
Well,
you're just...
You need to remember that people are beginners and you want to give information in a way.
Approach it in good faith.
Yeah. Exactly. It's okay to be a beginner. So, yeah. But Gary is a really, really good fish breeder. He does know a lot of things about breeding, more than just rainbows. But, yeah. We'll leave it at that. There are plenty of assholes in this hobby. Some of those assholes do actually know things. Some of them don't.
How do you figure out which is which?
You know, it's not easy. It's not easy.
But I would say interact with an asshole no matter what. So
I would say, you know, the proof is in for plants. Look at their tanks.
Yeah.
Are they growing lush, beautiful tanks? Are they, you know, making aquascapes that are beautiful? Some of those top aquascapers, are they winning contests? For breeders, are they breeding those fish? Are they making fish? Pretty easy to see who knows what they're doing. So, you know, that's the proof.
Were you pointing at Geek?
Am I pointing at him? I don't know. What I'm trying not to do is like itch the skin off of my calves. I am covered in mosquito bites. It is not good. What happened?
Mosquitoes love me too.
Yeah, they don't really seem to go for Jake.
A wild James has appeared.
Well, hello. It's been a while.
I saw him in a co-op stream yesterday.
Welcome. Good to see you again. It's been a while.
Indeed.
Ah.
Well, as people are accumulating in the chat, I guess we could talk about celebrating this 100th episode and why I titled it Water Chemistry Matters.
It's been 100 episodes, so I'm going to send out 100 cats.
There you go.
Everyone who's in this stream is going to be burdened with a cat.
Well, we would like to change somebody's water chemistry.
That's right.
So we're going to send you a vat of acid. No.
It would work. We're going to just send you like 25 pounds of GH booster.
Anyways, let me share the screen. So Kelly and I are going halfsies on an RODI system. This is a 5-stage one from Bulk Reef Supply.
Right.
For the record, I did ask them to donate one, but they're like, "Oh, we don't have YouTuber programs," and I can't say that I'm mad about that. They only do clubs and like things
That's fair because Bulk Reef Supply donates a lot to clubs and shows.
And if you are a club or a show, they do it pretty much no questions asked. So
yeah.
So this is
points out that a teaspoon of muriatic acid will do it.
Indeed,
it's very true, but we are not giving away hydrochloric acid for a giveaway.
I got some high concentrated hydrochloric in the fish room, and since I got an RO unit, I have not used the acid at all.
Turns out the RO unit is just easier.
It is indeed.
I mean, you can use the muriatic acid, I guess, if you have any rocks you want to scrub, or I don't know. You don't really get hard water scale because you don't have any GH in your tap water.
No, not really velvety, soft alkaline water over here.
Yeah, not an issue. But yes, we are going to give away an RO unit, which I don't even have one. Is this the same one you have?
No, mine is only 100 gallons a day, and it's only a 4-stage because I don't have that much to remove.
Oh, right. Yeah. But this one will take care of
this is for people that have that dirty, filthy NPK water.
Yeah. So, even if you don't want to use this for your planted tanks, you could use it for a saltwater tank. You could use it for your shrimp breeding empire. You could just use it because your water is so hard it breaks when it comes out of the faucet, according to Captain Wind. So this is
for whip water, yeah. So
it is. But whip already has an RO unit, so I guess we would ask you not enter if you already have an RO unit.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at with. So just for one thing, it's U.S. only because it's shipping this internationally would just be outrageous. So sorry for that. Secondly, if you do enter, please do so if you don't already have an RO unit. Same thing like when we gave away CO2 last year. We said this is to get somebody started with the proper CO2 setup. Same thing with this. Get somebody started with RODI. And also, if you do enter and win, please plan to actually set it up and use it. And
so
6 months or so.
Don't play on behalf of giving it to me because I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
So Scuba Steve asked if he can play for Dee Dee. Well, I love Dee Dee. She already has one.
Mm-hmm.
Can you play but promise to gift it to someone else?
We're going to go by Foxan rules, just like they did for Fishmas in July. The giftee has to be in chat and also has to be eligible in the same way. They, if they already have one, like
Dee Dee. She already has one.
Yeah.
That's why she's so good at growing plants, because her tap water is crazy hard.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in that situation that
Sure are.
I can imagine they get really freaking confused when they see those top 10 easy plant videos on YouTube.
Yeah,
Like,
I
why
mean,
are they so easy for everybody else?
and I can't tell you how much easier it is growing plants with KH6 out of the tap versus KH22, which is what I had in Iowa. I mean, it's not like all of a sudden I'm like a green goddess. It's just that my water is so much
Right.
easier.
I mean, plants are really,
So
really
much
easy.
easier.
If you know your water chemistry and set it up for plants, that's all
Yeah.
it takes.
And I just, I wasn't in a position to have I mean, I could have hauled home RO water from the lab every week for free, but I wasn't in a position in life to do RO water. Let's put it that way. So I made do with what I had, and it was hard. The water and like the growing. So, you know, life is way easier with KH6, and it gets even easier if you have like KH0.
0, 1. So what do we think? We let people, because RO Buddy, that's a pretty tiny, not doesn't make very much and doesn't have
I don't even know what an RO buddy is, so I'm gonna let
it's
you
like it's
respond.
like my first RO system, Little Tykes RO filter.
Oh, yeah. You know what? If you have an RO one, as long as you give the other one to someone else, let's put
Yeah.
it that way. Because somebody will want it, or you can donate to the Clash auction because you're going to the Clash. So if you donate it to your fish club or give it away, then yeah, why not?
Alrighty.
So itchy.
All right, let me set up the giveaway and we'll spin the wheel. It'll just be a wheel of you win, a one and done spin.
Yeah,
At some point
yeah.
during the stream, must be
Who
present to
knows
win.
when? Who can say when? We don't know.
Don't know. Let's see. Hashtag 100. How about that?
That's
No,
pretty easy.
someone might have done hashtag 100 just because. So I'm going to do hashtag RODI. We'll do that.
Perfect.
Hashtag RODI and set up. So cool.
Oh, Whip, you only have an RO buddy. Well, yeah, then Whip, you're eligible because your water is so hard. And I know that you'll just give the RO buddy away. So
And we got to get Whip growing some freaking plants.
we gotta do something for Whip. His water. I don't think it's as bad as the water I had in Iowa, but man, that's splitting hairs.
So when you were in Iowa, did you do dirted tanks? Was that when you tried?
I did try it. Yeah, I did try it.
So in terms of the CO2 production in a dirted tank, when paired with that high KH water, does it make a lick of difference?
No, there's no CO2. I didn't see any CO2 production. Yeah, that's not a thing. There's no measurable CO2 production in a dirted tank that I've seen. And if there is, it all bubbles to the surface because it's especially if you have hard water, it's very hard to dissolve water in a KH that high because of the equilibrium of the water pushes it
So what
more
little
toward
yeah,
the carbonate bicarbonate part of the equilibrium.
because there's a lot of talk of like the dirted tank will lower your KH. It's like maybe a little bit, but if you have 22,
I never.
I mean, if you have 22 KH and it lowers it to 20, what is that?
Doesn't mean anything. And I never could see any lowering.
Yeah.
And the substrate I used, it had a tiny sprinkling of peat on the bottom of it, like not much, just a dusting. And yeah, I will say that the benefits of it, it's got a lot of nutrients in it, which are good for plants.
Yeah.
It's easy to plant in because it's really soft, but it's messy.
Yeah,
And
easy
you
to
get
plant. Don't
you get
uproot it though.
lot of algae, a lot of algae. But I used a couple different substrates. I didn't use aqua soil because back then they only had ADA aqua soil was the only like good aqua soil that you could get. It was very expensive. Not many US stores carried it, and shipping, and I was really poor. I was a grad student, so that was not really an option. The other substrates that were on the market then were fluorite, just red fluorite, and Eco Complete, and neither of those are that great of substrates worth paying for. So
Eco Complete is disgusting.
it's disgusting. It's like cheap gravel covered in like barf water. It's so gross. Yeah, not my favorite. So Whip asks, what I don't get is I've been getting ammonia in my water and it's well water. How the hell does that happen? It can happen. Farm runoff. So farmers will they will inject their fields with anhydrous ammonia. And if you have farm runoff getting into your well, which can happen, you can get ammonia in your water.
How much ammonia are we talking?
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, farmers put a lot of anhydrous ammonia on their crops, especially corn, which is in corn country.
I know Zen has a little bit in her water, and she also has pretty sure phosphate and nitrate,
and
but she
Zenny has
hasn't.
chloramines too, right?
Yeah, same. So if I test
ammonia
my tap, it's also a little bit like a
so
tiny
lot
bit of
of the
ammonia.
ammonia is part of the decay process of the chloramine. But yeah, I would say it could come from farm runoff. And I don't know what ppm of ammonia is bad for you to drink. I mean, I think that we are less sensitive than fish are, but I don't really want to drink ammonia water. I don't know that
I'd rather not.
I don't know that I would drink your tap water, Whip. I think I would invest in a purification system for my drinking water. So Whip says, I'm a little colorblind, so I struggle with the numbers, but it's not much, I don't think. I mean, fish don't want any ammonia. They want zero ammonia. So if you can see any color happening in the test kit, I guess it can be still hard to perceive those color changes when you're colorblind. So maybe have your wife look at it.
And remember, if you have like super hard water, high KH, your pH is probably high, and the higher the pH, the more ammonia, the more free ammonia you've got. So
yeah. So RO water is going to make your life better in a lot of ways.
And for those who have never used an RO system, you also want to make sure when you set it up that you've got a storage container for the water, because it's not instantaneous.
And that you remineralize your water in some way. You can either cut it with your tap water, whatever fraction you want to do, or you use a powdered GH booster or a liquid GH booster. The powder is much, much cheaper. You can also cut it with your tap water. I know that's what Dee Dee does. I don't know what fraction she cuts it with, but I think she brings her KH down to, I don't know, like 2 or 3 or something from like 16. So, you can do either one. So Alec points out that nitrate is bad for pregnant women, correct? People don't drink the tap water where I live. Yeah, and that's really sad that your water is so low quality that you can't drink it. And there is such a variability in the United States of tap water safety. I'm really lucky in that the municipality I live in has really, really safe tap water that's pretty
Same.
consistent. But not every municipality is like that. And a lot of people are on wells. And those vary a lot. Like I've never tested Jake's tap water, but it tastes awful. I would not, I don't want to drink it. I don't think it's safe to drink.
So I know Jeff Kane, I don't know if you talked to his neighbor yet, where his neighbor has, I think, a shallower well than he does. And so he was curious, like, what the difference is, whether his neighbor's water is a lot harder. Because, I mean, that's the other thing. If you're on a well and your neighbor's on a well, y'all could have two very different
You
different
could,
water
and I would
makeups.
say that a deeper well is going to usually be better quality
Yeah.
because you're going to be getting water from lower in the aquifer, so it's going to be more filtered. It's going to have less of things like fecal coliform bacteria and cryptosporidium to things that make you sick. But yeah, it's hard to say. It's why you've got to test it. And I don't know the testing procedures you can go through to determine if your well water is safe, because you can have your well tested to see if it's safe for humans to drink, things like heavy
Yeah.
metals
I
and
think it's a few $100s or something to send that off like for a comprehensive test.
yeah, but I think that that's worth doing for your health, not just for pregnant women, but babies especially. So
Oh, it's Hagen Hill is Jake's birthday today. Happy
happy
birthday.
birthday. Happy birthday.
I think Facebook told me it's also Bob Steenfat's birthday. If he's listening, happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Bob.
Oh, it's reversed.
Oh.
Jeff said, "I'm shallow and perfect." Clip that.
Fantastic. And he's deep with
And
iron bacteria problems. Interesting. There must be iron. Oh, well, yeah, you live in Wisconsin and northern Wisconsin, and there are iron deposits up there. So that makes sense. Everybody's water is really different. So I don't know that those iron bacteria are bad for people's health. I don't think they are, but they stain your tub and your toilet and your white ceramic fixtures. So would an ozone help with ammonia issue? No. Ozone
how
would help with
practical is that?
bacteria. I don't know. I don't think it's, I don't know. I have no idea, but that would help with bacteria or pathogens in the water. It's not going to help with ammonia.
Yeah, I don't know how that works and how practical that would be, and whether it's worth doing anything with if you have a little bit of ammonia. What WIP needs is plants to
but for your
that ammonia.
or like a carbon block.
Yeah.
And I would put a carbon block on your tap water anyways, just for drinking water. That would help. And that's something you can install yourself.
I believe the 5-stage one has 2 carbon chambers. Yeah, dual universal carbon blocks.
So yeah, then you don't need to use dechlorinator at all. So, and it would also get rid of any ammonia. So having a carbon block on your water supply for your fish room is a good idea for even people with water that's really high quality, because then you don't have to add dechlorinator. It's really easy.
My parents are on a well and they don't have they have nothing in their water. It's like 8 TDS or something. There's no chlorine, there's no hardness. I have no idea what small amount of ions is making it read that, but
yeah, and everybody has different water, so it's really hard to say. It's really hard to say.
Ozone breaks down ammonia to nitrite, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so maybe it would help. I don't know how practical that is in a home situation. I have no idea.
I might
So
have to go look that
Geek
up,
Boy
see how that
says to
works.
get a catalytic carbon block if you have chloramine. Yep, I agree. Yep, I agree. And that's something you can install yourself, or you could make your partner do it for you. In my
Yeah,
case,
there you go.
I wouldn't do it, but Jake
Renee's
would.
been doing carbon blocks for 10 years.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, and then you don't have to worry about chloramine at all. Chlorine, you can just change your water straight from the tap, which is nice. So Juanita says, my tubs and sinks are orange after 25 years of trying to keep them white. I stopped the fight. Yeah, and we have that problem here too, because we have a lot of iron in our water. And, you know, I'm scrubbing the toilets all the time, and they get red rims on them because the water has so much iron in it. Kind of annoying, but our water is pretty high quality for the most part. So Nancy B says, my grandparents had well water with so much sulfur and iron in it, it grossed me out. Yeah, when I lived in Iowa, the water had a ton of sulfur in it. It was disgusting. It
Yeah.
stunk. And it would get even more of it in the winter because they would take the water out of the river, and the river freezes over in Iowa because it's cold there. And so it's coming from below the ice, and it just would get really gross and stinky. Nasty.
When I was in college, this was in Baton Rouge too. I worked in an office. Like, I don't know if it was the pipes or what, but the water would come out of the sink just smelling like fart, just so much sulfur.
Sulfur.
And then my boss would make coffee with that shit water, and it'd be the worst smell ever.
Gross.
Like, and I was heavily addicted to caffeine back then, and I could not bring myself to drink that coffee.
Yeah, I mean, just getting a filter pitcher for your coffee is a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I make tea with just straight tap water here, but our water is pretty good. It tastes really good. So, yeah. So, Sarah suggests a product called Iron Out for cleaning. I'm gonna have to look for that because I do have iron stains in our fixtures, and I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
So Whip says, want to hear something funny? My water is the good water between me and my neighbor. He's borrowed my water from the hose because his water is orange from iron. Yeah. And
Ooh.
every sink, toilet, and tub is stained. Ugh. I mean, the thing is like iron in your water is unsightly and it stains your fixtures, but it's not necessarily bad for you. I mean, because it's a form of iron that is not easily. So would that be ferrous, right? So it's the oxidized form of iron, which is rust.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very, it's not absorbable at all. So
Barkeeper's friend would help, maybe.
Yeah, Barkeeper's friend does help a little. I love Barkeeper's friend. I've never tried scrubbing the toilet with Barkeeper's friend. Maybe I should try that.
I think I would just live with orange toilets and orange everything. To fight that obsessively.
Yeah, I mean it's a downhill. It's a losing battle.
It's a reminder of what's in your water.
Yeah, I love Barkeeper's Friend though. I use it to scrub my stainless steel pots. It's a good product.
You know what, Geek? In that case, if you had like orange water, it might actually help dye your plants red.
It might. Who can say? I actually just bought some powdered iron chelate, which is DHHA chelated iron, because I have some plants outside that are chlorotic. So when plants are deficient in iron, it's not that they aren't red anymore. It's that they have something called chlorosis, which you can Google what that looks like.
It's veining, right?
It's like yellowing out. It's like the veins turn yellow with like green streaks in them. It's very characteristic. Google what chlorosis looks like and you'll be like, oh, okay. And if you see that, you want to add iron chelate. And if you have high pH water, which my water is pretty, it's over the pH of 7. The problem is other chelates like EDTA that iron can precipitate out. And so the plants won't absorb it. So like I have a lotus that is It's really chlorotic. It just needs more. So I got some iron chelate, and I'm gonna make little like little paper envelopes of the powdered stuff and like stick them down in the substrate so they get right to the plant. We'll see if that helps. It should. I mean,
Have you tried putting some of that EDDHA powder in water? Because I know that chelation is like the most
yeah,
bioavailable, like of the widest range of pH, but the drawback, everything I've read always says like the drawback of that one is it will tint your water.
I just got it in the mail. I just got it in the mail today.
Well, play with it.
Yeah.
Play with it today. I want to see.
Well, I'm gonna do it on Friday because fertilizer Friday. That's the day I fertilize everything
Nice.
outside. So we'll see what it does.
Because
I mean, I
I'll
don't
be
care.
curious, just
Yeah,
the tiny amount of iron that you would need to dose a tank.
not
Would
much.
that be enough to
Yeah,
noticeably tint your water? Because if not, I'm on that. Because like EDTA chelation, that there's way too many iron supplements that use EDTA, and like hardly any of it is usable by your plants at like a pH of 7 and up.
yeah.
And
I mean, unless you see chlorosis in a plant, though, it's not an issue. The only thing I've ever seen chlorosis in, once in a while, I will see it in my crypt lucens.
Mm.
But not even that bad. It kind of corrected itself. So, you know, you don't need to, like, this is a product and it clears up the problem right away from what I've read. It's chlorosis gets fixed really quickly. I've heard of people dosing their whole ponds for their lotuses with EDDHA. I don't really care if my pond water gets tinted, but
can't really see it.
I'm just going to make up little paper packets because this stuff is kind of expensive. Like a little jar of it, like that big, I think it's a pound of it, is like $20 plus shipping. So I don't, and Amazon didn't have it. So I would rather just sort of targeted use it and see if that gets rid of the problem. But I'll let you know if it tints the water at all. I'll try to.
Nylock G's got it.
I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I bought it from gardenanswer.com. So, and then it took so long to get here because UPS destroyed the package. The package got damaged like in shipment, and it got sent back to them, and they had to like send it back to me, and it was coming from Oregon, and it just took forever. Annoying. Yeah, so but it finally got here today, so I will test it out, and hopefully it will clear up the chlorosis in that. And like once in a while, I'll have another plant outside that will get a little chlorotic for whatever reason. You know, out in your landscape, you can get chlorosis from too much watering. It's like if you have a lot of rain, you can get chlorosis because it'll wash the iron away from the plant. So that can happen. That's why you can get chlorosis in your tank too, because everything is washing away because it's
from too many water changes.
Well, just from being underwater.
So what you're saying is water changes are bad.
Is that what I'm saying? Sure. I'm saying if you don't see chlorosis, your plants are fine. They're fine. You don't need to add anything. I mean, just the iron that's in your all-in-one fertilizer is going to be fine. But if you see chlorosis, that's what you do to correct it. Scotty says, you heard it here. Water changes are bad.
Clip it, Scotty. Save it.
Clip it. Make a short out of it. You'll get like 5,000 views. Scientist says, don't change your water.
According to Dr. Kelly Foreman.
That's right. Just make shorts of everything I say.
You think I know how to clip it? Scotty, go scroll backwards and film it with your phone.
There you go. I don't know how to clip things either, so there you go. But you know what? I also don't care to clip anything. I just don't care.
So for those joining us recently, we are giving away an RODI filter with with the stipulation that it is not international. It's US only, because shipping would be a lot on that. And you must either not own an RODI unit or have one that's like very low tier, weaker, and you want to upgrade it.
Yeah. But if you have a weak one, you must promise to give it away
Pay it
or
forward.
donate it to a club or event auction.
Indeed.
Yeah.
And this is, I mean, obviously, I'm not going to do investigative research to see if you followed up on this. This is the honor system, but
I mean, we'll find out if you're an asshole though, because word gets around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we can guilt you by saying your entire character hinges on what you do with this RODI unit.
That's right.
This will determine what kind of person you are.
That's right. But you don't have to use it for your planet tank, I guess. You could use it to start your saltwater empire or your shrimp breeding empire. Or just because I don't know, you decided you want to drink RODI water, I guess. You could also do that.
I think that's dangerous, right?
It's not. I mean, you need calcium and magnesium. You need it for your bones. And water that is that low pH isn't super good for you. I mean, but it's not going to kill you. It's fine. You need to get minerals from your food. This brings up a fun story of when I was teaching. So I was teaching cell biology. So these were sophomores in biology. They were biology majors. And we were learning about osmoregulation in cells and like ion transporters, real basic stuff. We were talking about electrolytes. And I asked them, where do you get your electrolytes from?
Rondo?
Thought a minute, and they're like, well, from like sports drinks. I'm like, okay, but like, did we have sports drinks, millions of years ago when we evolved? Like, did our ancestors have sports drinks? Do you die if you don't get sports drinks? And they just looked at me. I'm like, so where else can you get electrolytes from? And they just stared at me. And I'm like, how about from food? How about you eat them? Like, nobody needs Gatorade unless you were like an elite.
They associate it with hydration. That's why. Because that's what Gatorade has done.
Yeah. I have never, the only time I've ever had Gatorade is that like if I am sick and I need hydration because I'm sick.
I like the taste of it. Like
Do you?
It's like instead of having a Coke, I might have a Gatorade. Just the same thing, sugar content wise.
I associate it with stomach ailment, so I don't like it. But you really don't need Gatorade for your health. I do hot yoga. It's 92 degrees when I do yoga. There's plenty of sweating. Just regular water is fine. That is my soapbox moment on hydration and osmoregulation for the day. Just drink regular water.
Fish Frenzy is asking what the hashtag is for a 5-stage RODI unit, 150 gallons per day. For those who don't have an RODI unit currently or have a weak one that they will subsequently give away after they get this one. So, and it's domestic.
Nancy B says watermelon is the perfect food. I love watermelon.
I got burnt out on it growing up because it's I had 4 brothers, so watermelon is like a good bulk food item, and so when it was watermelon season, it was watermelon every fucking day.
We buy a watermelon every single weekend and we cut it up, and Jake eats like 3/4 of it by himself. Because
are y'all one of those weirdos that put salt on the watermelon?
No, but my mother is. Her whole branch.
My parents do.
I don't like that. I want my watermelon to just be plain watermelon.
Sugary.
Yeah. But I love watermelon. It's so good. And it's the season.
Gatorade has a version that uses watermelon juice as its electrolyte source.
But it probably tastes gross. Like, just eat a real watermelon. Ugh, gross. I don't like fake foods. I don't eat fake food.
You don't drink your calories.
Nope. I don't. But I do eat watermelon. So
Got 34 entries so far.
Dee Dee is also no salt. I agree. Watermelon doesn't need anything. It's good as it
I
is.
mean, they also salt their cantaloupe. My
My
dad is
mom
like
does too.
my dad was like a ketchup and eggs kind of person, and like a mayonnaise and asparagus, and I didn't inherit
Really?
any of those food
I like
habits.
a little lemon on my asparagus. That's nice.
Butter and salt.
Yeah, I like a little lemon. Sometimes I'll make a vinaigrette and put it on asparagus. That's
Yeah,
good.
that sounds good.
Yeah. But ketchup on eggs. I don't do that.
Rachel keeps a personal pickle jar on hand to drink the juice.
Yeah, I know that there are people who do that. You know, I am not a big I don't really crave salty foods. Like, I mean, obviously I eat salted foods, but I like sweet snacks better than salty snacks. So pickles are, I mean, I will eat pickles on burgers, but I don't
Is there
really
a
like pickles that much. I'm not going to go out of my way to eat pickles.
so how much truth is there to that genetic link to, like, if you have a certain genes, you crave saltier foods versus the sweet? Because I have the salty gene.
Yeah. Well, if you are a carrier for cystic fibrosis, you have you are you have some issues with your chloride transporters, and so you will crave salty foods. And if you have cystic fibrosis, it's so funny because like McDonald's food is what you're supposed to eat because you need high fat because you don't absorb calories very well, and you need lots and lots of salt, just so much salt. So like French fries are so good for you then, which is the opposite of how
I
everyone
wish
else
I
is
had that
supposed to
gene.
eat. Yeah, but no, people who are carriers for cystic fibrosis, they're perfectly healthy, but
Mm,
they tend to crave more salt. Um,
interesting.
but I
I mean,
just
I got this
I
information
like
from
sweet.
23andMe.
Yeah. I mean, it didn't say you were a character for CF though, because it would for sure tell you that.
No, I don't think
That's
I had
one.
much.
Yeah. A lot of the stuff on 23andMe is kind of garbage based on like
Well,
quantitative trait loci data that's pretty
so
garbagey.
I've looked up some of the genes where it's like you're more likely to do this, but then I look up what is this based on, and it's
Yeah.
like we did a study in 50 Asian
Yeah.
men. Like, well, I am
Yeah. And
0%
those are,
Asian, so
well, and those are quantitative trait loci, which are, it's pretty weak evidence. But the cystic fibrosis carrier, that's a thing. And that's something like you would want to know about because you would want to know if Jenna was a carrier, like if you wanted to have
yeah.
more children, though you're pretty much done with having children, but you would want your children to know if, so like you would want them to get tested.
By pretty much, we mean you mean definitively we are absolutely done having children.
I'm assuming no more kids. But you would want to know anyways to get your kids tested because they would want to know if they were carriers. So, yeah. Oh, happy birthday, Lillian. Is it
Today is
Lillian's
Lillian's birthday. She
Happy
turned 13 years old.
birthday. Oh, what are you going to do for her birthday?
Well, she had a friend spend the night Saturday night. They went to the mall. Lillian spent a bunch of money at the mall, and I think she chose for dinner tonight chicken parm. So,
Oh, that's a good dinner. That's a good dinner.
hell yeah.
13 or
Mm-hmm.
14?
She's 13. She is
I'm a
officially a teenager.
teenager.
I've
God,
been
don't
getting
come
all
home
these
for your
Facebook
birthday.
notifications, like memories from Facebook. They're like, we got the car seat packed. We have the overnight bag. Baby should be coming Thursday and things like that.
Oh, God, where does the time go?
I know. I cannot believe it's been
Right.
13 years.
And of course, she wanted to go to the mall for her birthday because she's a teenage girl now. Oh, well, happy birthday. Tell her that Jake and I wish her a happy birthday.
Will do.
That's exciting. Hopefully she gets a good cake.
I think we're doing cupcakes.
Oh, cupcakes. That's good.
Cupcakes are nice and practical because when you slice into a cake, it's like the clock starts ticking.
Your kids aren't quite old enough yet where like that won't matter. That cake will just disappear.
I mean, Zachary likes yeah, I don't know. I think this whole family is like not super into cake. I mean, for my birthday, I always request a pie.
Pie.
Yeah.
Sometimes I make pies for my birthday. My parents used to have a really nice cherry tree, and we would freeze cherries from it, and then I would make my birthday pie out of that. And I would make a pie, and my mom and I, our birthdays are the 2nd and the 4th, and we would share it. It's Mama Bird's birthday today, too. We're heading out soon to throw some groceries down our neck holes.
Nice.
Okay.
Happy birthday, Mama Bird.
Birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry, Vibes. I missed your super chat. $1.99. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Vibes.
Pickled juice is good to re-add electrolytes, he said.
It is. I just don't really like it. So coconut water is really good, too. I do like coconut water, but it has a lot of calories in it, shockingly enough. So I pretty much only drink it if I'm sick. So Daniel says, Stephen, Kelly, and anyone in chat, I have a 120-gallon tank that has CPDs, rummy nose raspberries, and orange Van Cories. Would like to add Pseudomagilla or rainbows. What would you add, Pseudomagilla? Rainbows
I don't think
and rummy nose are not a good match.
Those CPDs, those CPDs and rummy nose would never eat. Because
and they
the
would
rummy nose raspberries I have are really, really shy.
They will cower in the back and be very unhappy. I think that if you add like Pseudomagilla luminatus, that's probably an okay choice because they're tinier. Mm-hmm. They're not boisterous. They're very pretty. So that's
put on the show for you.
But like, don't add. What's the Pseudomagilla that has the little yellow fins?
The frittata.
Don't add that one. That one's kind of bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. Add. I think luminatus is a good choice because they're smaller. They're pretty. They're really pretty.
Yep. They'll get a couple of. Get like a good mix of males and females, and they'll flare up for you and spar.
I mean, they don't live super long. They only live a couple years. They are pretty easy to breed if you want to breed them in another tank and then keep your numbers up.
I want to do that because I got a bunch of Pseudomagillas. I put them straight in a community tank, and they lived there 2 years, and then they were gone because there's nothing that's going to breed in a community.
Yeah, and I just don't think that Pseudomagilla and Melanitania are a good match. I just think they don't get fed enough. That the Melanitania are too pestering. Too annoying.
It depends on the setup for sure.
The counter, but maybe frittata is an okay choice because they are a little bit bigger and a little more boisterous. I have never kept those. That's just what I've been told.
I had 2 frittatas. I ordered 8 frittatas. I forgot from where. I think it was Aquahuna. They sent me 2 frittatas and like 6 Pseudomagilla luminatus. Because I mean, when you order from Aquahuna, you're getting like little bitty baby fries that just you couldn't tell which is which.
But luminatus, that's not a bad choice for your tank, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Nancy B says coconut water tastes like dirt. I like it.
I
just doesn't.
I just like water. What's wrong with water?
I pretty much just drink water. I do drink iced tea in the morning because I need caffeine. So unsweetened iced tea is good. But otherwise, I drink water. Sometimes, I like to put mint in my water. That's nice. Or a little lemon for something exciting. And I'm a big fan of seltzer water.
Lemon. Wow. Living on the edge there.
No, I'm a wild person. I really liked when I was in Costa Rica and Panama. You can buy a green coconut, agua de pipa. They just slice the top off of it. And you can drink it right out of the coconut. It tastes so good. So much better than the packaged stuff.
Put a little splash of rum in there.
You could do that too, but I didn't because I don't drink.
June likes the water in her soda.
All right.
There is water in there.
There is water in there. I just don't drink calories, and I don't drink fake sugar ever. I don't eat fake sugar ever. If I want sugar, I just want real sugar.
Well, I've had 2 of these today.
Celsius sparkling water. That's like something I would drink, right? Yeah.
Well, no, you wouldn't, because it has 200 milligrams of caffeine per can.
That's a lot. I can't.
That's a lot, isn't it? I've had 2 today.
I can't handle that. That would be. Yeah, I can't handle coffee. Coffee is too much for me. I drink tea. That's got like 25 or 35 milligrams per serving. 200, I think, would kill me. But you don't even feel caffeine, do you?
I mean, I'm feeling 400 milligrams of it pretty decently.
I can't have any caffeine this time of day either. I have to have caffeine before like 1:30 or 2, or I won't sleep well at night. Yeah.
So what were those 2 tissue cultures that you got from the co-op, and how are they doing?
I got hair grass, and a lot of it became uprooted, and I had to replant it. So it doesn't look great, but I'm hoping it comes back. And then the other one was like, what is it?
Schismaglotta.
Hang on.
Schismaglotta. I don't know. The co-op keeps adding plants, and then I'm looking at my weather like, what's what?
It's exciting that they're adding more plants.
I know. And then when it's going to be cool enough for me to order, they're going to be sold out and stuff.
Schismatoglottis pretori.
That was close.
Yeah, Schismatoglottis. I mean, it's looking all right. It doesn't look great yet, but I only planted it a week ago, so gotta give it time. We'll see how it does. I mean, I don't know if it requires super soft water. The co-op didn't really. I mean, I don't know if Tropica's website really indicates what pH it needs. I think you just
they just they do like easy, medium, difficult, and that usually has some correlation.
Yeah. I don't remember what it's rated. My guess is it probably needs CO2, but I don't know. I don't know anything about it, so we'll see.
Impulse purchase. Looks like I think it's rated easy. Yeah.
So maybe it'll do well. Maybe it doesn't need CO2. I don't know. But everything does better with CO2. I can't think of a single plant that is not improved with CO2. Even if you have super low KH water, having CO2 is always going to make it better. You're always going to have more dissolved CO2 when you inject it. It's just
it's like the low KH water plus CO2 leads to like really fast, robust growth versus like high KH water and CO2 injection just allows you to grow certain plants that otherwise you just simply would not be able to grow.
Yeah. I mean, and there are plants I can't grow, and it's because I don't have super low pH water.
And I want blood vomit, damn it.
I don't. I mean, why can't they just call it central lepus? I'm really grossed out by the name blood vomit.
I love it. Just know how to Google it properly. That's all.
Ugh, gross.
Don't go straight to Google Images.
No. Yeah, and that's a plan I have never attempted because I know it needs really low pH water. So, yeah. Sarah says cooler temps coming my way tonight.
Nice.
Tomorrow for us. This is our last day of heat. Tomorrow we're supposed to get a lot of rain. We got some rain today. Tomorrow we're going to get, let's see, another half inch of rain. And then highs in the 70s and low 80s. Not bad. It's just a little sticky out today.
Here's super fun time coming our way.
Oh, God, that's awful.
99, Tuesday 99, Wednesday triple digits. And then it cools off to 97.
Oh, boy.
But don't worry,
What
by
you
Sunday we'll
don't,
be at a
what's
cool
that's not
96.
telling you is the heat index of that. So humid down there. It's a swamp. Ugh.
Mhm.
Whereas like we just don't have the humidity that you guys do. Even on our hotter days, it's not that humid. Iowa is much more humid than here. That's why our summers are so nice. And other than these horrible mosquito bites on my poor legs, I really do like going outside because it's really nice out.
Mm.
I mean, I'm not even breaking a sweat today. It's not that bad.
Denver
So
hit a record the
Brandon
other day,
Whitecap,
J-Rock said.
that's someone I don't know. Hello. You're from Wisconsin. That's great. I love Wisconsin. It's supposed to cool down the rest of the week. Yes. My sister's in Madison. She's looking forward to that.
100% humidity is annoying when you paint cars for a living.
They just don't dry. They just don't dry. Yeah.
I repainted my Honda Accord years ago outside, and had to do it in the winter, and it like the humidity had to be below 50%.
Oh
And I was
wow.
lucky if I could find a
That's really
window of
hard to
time for it to
find
do
where
that.
you live. Yeah. Because it's humid. It's the swamp. I mean, it's the way it is.
Swampy. We just lost a man today to heat stroke. Oh man,
Oh,
not dead, just rushed to the ER via ambulance, and our temps aren't anywhere near that hot.
well, thank goodness you got him to the hospital. That's tough. I mean, it can, I mean, the heat index can get very bad around here. Our heat index right now, so it's 88 degrees. Our heat index is 97. So this is an uncharacteristically miserable day. I don't feel that bad though. I'm pretty used to heat. I'm better with heat than most people are. I do all that hot yoga. It helps.
Yeah.
If I lived in Louisiana, I would be sure to do my hot yoga just to train for the heat, just to get my body used to it.
All right, 60-second last call for RODI unit. If you
Right.
live in the United States, currently do not own an RODI unit, or have a weaker one that you plan to donate to a club or someone else, and are
And
upgrading your
US
RODI.
only, unless you are playing for someone in the United States. So Moose asked me, how many terrariums do I have and how are they? I have 2 glass terrariums that are made in jars, like the 2-gallon glass jars. They are doing great. I've not watered them yet. They're
Nice.
doing great. And then I have my 2 Awaza biorbs. They are looking really good. The moss foreground, unfortunately, on both of them died off because I think of the heat. I am going to try to replace that, but the plants in them are beautiful. They look great. They're no maintenance. I mean, I watered them 2 or 3 times since November. The one that I just set up this spring, I have not watered yet. But yeah, love those biorbs. They look great. So terrariums, great way to have houseplants for people who don't have it together enough in life to water houseplants. So, which I don't. Well, also Fat Kitty kills houseplants. I mean, that's the biggest thing. He's a murderer. Also, my hydroponic wall is doing really good.
Nice.
I mean, there it is. It's looking really, really good. Pretty happy with it. So
They have that on Amazon now, and it looks really tempting. But knowing all the BS you went through,
I mean, I do know all the things you need to buy and how you know what you need to do to make it work.
but on principle, it's very annoying that it comes with a light and a pump, and you still have to buy a light and a pump.
You have to buy a light. You still have to buy a pump. You still have to buy tubing, and I mean, it's just, yeah. But that said, I love it. It's no maintenance at all. I mean, maybe I trim the plants once or twice every 6 months. I don't know. It's really no maintenance, and I love it. It looks so good. So Daniel, hashtag RODI. Oh, passing wind put it for you. So
then as soon as I see Daniel pop up with it, I will refresh and we will spin.
refresh.
Just be a one and done spin. No wheel of you lose, so wheel of you win. And then just email me.
Yeah, it's from Extreme. Scotty says, I thought women could multitask. Nobody can multitask. People who think they are good at multitasking are just good at switching rapidly between tasks. But our brains are not meant to multitask. And I don't multitask. I task. That's it. I like to do one thing.
I'm not very good at interruptions.
Yeah, people need to focus. People need to think deeply about what they're working on.
All right.
That's what yoga is good for. Being able to concentrate on one thing.
Here we go.
Let's go. Good luck. I can't hear what song is playing.
Shady Grady.
Hey!
I think I know where Mike lives, so
congratulations.
Congrats. I'm just gonna order it straight from Bulk Reef Supply, so that's where it'll come from.
Nice. And let me know what half of it costs, Steven, and I'll just PayPal you the money.
Sounds good.
Perfect. Well, congrats, Shady. What's your water like out of the tap? Do you have gross water? Let us know.
Yeah, what is that? Massive. He doesn't live in. I don't think he lives in Boston, but
they have pretty soft water. But you still, I mean, this could be your chance to try crazy shrimp breeding or salt water. I mean, everyone could use an RODI system for something. Oh, very bad water.
Yeah, well, see, like even if you live in those areas where the water is soft, it doesn't always correlate with the local water. I think like Kenny and Danny, they live in the PNW, but their water is not soft. But
really,
but Eakins lives like I don't know 20 minutes from them, and his water is practically RO. It varies so much across the country.
Yeah. It really does. In the state of Indiana, if you drive down to Indianapolis, the water is very, very hard. But in Fort Wayne, it's not bad. So that's only 2 hours away. So it can vary quite a bit. You've got chloramines. Okay, well, this will take care of that. And anything else that you
220 ppm. That's not the worst.
That's not. I mean, it's not too bad.
It's not 700, but 8 pH from the tap. Yeah, I mean, a membrane will last you a while at least.
Yeah, so that's nice. That's the other thing. Like membranes weren't as good back when I lived in Iowa. So it would have been really expensive for me to keep that up. And I had no money. I think that's important to know. Just no money. Just no money at all. Yeah. So Moose says, if salt is a cure-all, why do saltwater fish get sick? Do they get sick less? Well, so there are bacteria and there are many pathogens that are evolved to live in salt. Yeah, so like there's a lot of, there are things that can get us sick that are in saltwater fish. So there's a Vibrio, which is related to cholera, that makes you nasty sick from eating shellfish and other fish if you get it. So, there are pathogens that are evolved to live in that. I mean, if there is an environment on Earth, some bacteria has evolved to live in it. There are extremophiles, halophiles, there's all kinds of things. So yeah, saltwater fish can get sick too. The reason why salt is good in aquariums, one, it gives them a little bit of osmotic support, so it can kind of give them a little bit of a rest. But two, they didn't evolve in in salt. They evolved in fresh water. So you're introducing something into the water that's different. So it's going to kill pathogens that didn't evolve in that. And hopefully your fish are stronger and can outlast that situation. So that's why salt works. But yeah, saltwater fish, they get sick and die too, and it's expensive.
I have heard what Zen said, like you can do freshwater dips on salty fish.
And that makes sense too, because their pathogens have different osmoregulation, And the saltwater fish that, they don't really like it, but they'll be okay. They're stronger than the
Yeah,
pack.
it's just a dip, little dip in the fresh pool.
So, and Moose asks, is that why you don't eat the mussels or clams that don't open? How do you know if you purchase them deshelled? So, I mean, you only want to eat shellfish, like mussels or clams that were alive when you get them, because if they weren't alive, they rot and they're gross and they're disgusting and they can make you sick. So if you're cooking them and they don't open, you can put them back in to cook a little more and see if they do open. But otherwise, yeah, you don't want to eat them. They're not good for you. And they taste gross. They'll taste, rotten.
Ugh, rotten seafood.
Yeah, nobody wants that. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, you can eat, oysters on a half shell that are raw. People do. I don't. Because
I used to, just because I thought it was a cool thing to do, but nah.
Yeah, I don't do it. I mean, also, like, I have had enough gut trauma in my life. I had cryptocoryne and I was hospitalized. Like, no, I can't do that again. So I only eat cooked shellfish. But you can make your own choices.
Yeah, and raw oysters don't taste good at all. So
and cooked oysters are really good. Like, I had those oysters down there, and they're good. They taste good. So just eat them cooked. Because you can grill them or fry them, or I had the grilled ones. Those were really good. But like, I don't get oysters up here because they're just gross by the time they get here, or they're so expensive. You can like order some oysters and have them, overnighted to your house, and it's so expensive.
Yeah, I imagine Fat Kitty had trouble getting out of his.
Well, he's getting back in his box.
Okay.
He's successfully back in his box.
Well,
Long Family Shoal says oysters are delicious, but a bad oyster is deadly.
They can kill you, and it's not worth eating a raw oyster.
My Aunt Mary Helen, she ate a bad clam, and so Mary Helen is 5'10" and 110 pounds. And she got sick from eating a bad clam, and she lost 15 pounds.
Ooh.
She did not have 15 pounds to spare. She was sick for a full month. So I don't eat raw shellfish. That's not my jam. But yeah. I
believe it is dinner time.
I'm hungry.
And raw, rancid seafood.
You've got a birthday to celebrate.
Indeed.
Yeah. Well, thank you for 100 episodes. That's really great. And I know a lot of you have been here from the beginning. And even those of you who haven't, thank you for finding us. And thank you for supporting us and just being here. It means a lot to both of us.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So thank you, everyone. And we'll see you back here for 101.
Indeed. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.